Hi there. It's Christine Lavin, and I just listened to Rachel Kilgore's set. She's just fantastic. Sometimes I get to be a guest DJ, and last time I did, I played her song Rabbit in the Road. She's such an amazing singer and songwriter, and so it's a pleasure to share the screen with her and with all the other Fleming artists. And before I start my set, I just want to give you a quick little tour of my apartment. I live in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. So I'm going to take a little trip. I want to show you what's right outside my window. Okay. Can you see that? It's the Manhattan Bridge, and on the other side of the Manhattan Bridge is the Brooklyn Bridge, and there's the South Street Seaport, and there's Ellis Island, where many of us, our parents, grandparents, came from there. And I also want to show you my Christmas tree is still up. I love it so much. It's the first Christmas tree I ever had that I haven't taken it down. And look, it moves. It's alive. It's alive. And my favorite ornament, let's see if I can find it up here. It's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And it says, Merry Resistimus. Something like that. So I'm going to have the tree moving the whole time. So you can't see it, but I can see it. And I'm very excited about my first song because I have only performed it once in front of an audience because it's a one-song musical. Oh, by the way, there's subways that are going to go on the Manhattan Bridge every few minutes. So if you hear that, I want you to think of it as ambient noise because the first song is about a train trip. You get it? So it's a one-song musical. So you got to really pay attention because there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens, and there's two main characters, and I play them all. Okay, here we go. She's a 20-something graduate of Brown. He's a 20-something graduate of Princeton. Standing on the crowded train platform, waiting for the Acela. She's a lonely girl, he's a lonely fella. They don't know it, but they're going to the same place. A wedding tomorrow on the vineyard in Edgartown. They don't know it, but later today they both have reservations on the same Boston limousine that will bring them down to the ferry, but that's not very important yet. The Acela's here, they scramble for a seat. She's a friend of the bride, he's a friend of the groom, and as fate would have it, cute is how they meet. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes, now the two are traveling in tandem. The boy from Princeton and the girl from Brown. They both giggle nervously as they say hello. But then the conductor yells, "Keep your voices down. This is the quiet car, no talking, no phone calls. Conversation in this car is not allowed. The train is sold out, there are no empty seats. This is the quiet car, so don't you dare talk loud." The girl from Brown whips out her cell phone. The boy from Princeton types his number in. She sends him a text. "Hi, my name is Joy." He writes, "My name is Joe. I am from Berlin." She writes back, "I was born in Paris. I have dual citizenship." He writes, "So do I." She majored in German. He majored in French. Their spirits are lifting as the towns float by. They discover they're both heading for a wedding, the exact same one in Edgartown. They both could have brought a +1, but they both had a feeling their +1 would bring them down. And they wanted to be free so they could mingle, 'cause both wanted to meet somebody new. Joe looked at Joy, Joy looked at Joe, thinking, could that special someone be you? Ooh, ooh, ooh. They both love basketball and theater. They both love dogs and both are allergic to cats. Achoo! They both love to ski and play Scrabble. They both love to wear goofy hats. They both love the Yankees and the Giants. They both love Manhattan best in the fall. They both have a passion for Noah Baumbach films. Of their favorite foods, they both love pumpkin pie most of all. But she prefers hers with bourbon-flavored whipped cream. They zoom past New Haven and New London. Near Providence, Joy reminisced about the time she worked the state for Hillary. He texted, "Oh, are you a feminist?" She wrote back, "Yes, of course, and a Democrat. And you are?" He hesitated, then said, "Let's not go there." He tried to change the subject to something else. Said, "Oh, look at all the pretty clouds up in the air. Ooh, uh-oh." "Did you vote for him?" She wrote in all caps. He wrote back, "Do you really have to know?" She wrote, "Yes, it's important." But she was thinking, "Say it isn't so." He wrote back, "Yes, I voted for him, and I'm happy that he's shaking things up in Washington. I'm working on his re-election campaign. There's so much more to do. He is not done." As the train lumbered on toward Boston, whoop, as the train lumbered on toward Boston, Joy put her cell phone away. Joe put on his headphones to listen to Sean Hannity prevaricate all day. In Boston, they grabbed their bags and parted, only to meet up again at that limousine. In silence, they rode to the ferry at the hotel. Joy had room 20. Joe had room 19. It was the worst wedding either had attended, and both had been to more than one disaster. They both wished, why isn't there a fast forward button to get us through this awful weekend faster? On Sunday night, they boarded the same ferry, made a wish upon the same shooting star. They rode the train back to New York City, enduring silence in the quiet car. I'm kidding! He's not a Republican. He's a Buddhist. And guess what? She is too. And they're both vegans. And they're both in the Cloud Appreciation Society. And talking like sesquipedalians is something else they love to do. A sesquipedalian is somebody who uses big words unnecessarily. They both adore the movie Coco and have seen it so many times, and every time they cry. Next time they watch it, Joe will pop the question. Joy will make such a lovely bride. So all you single people who can hear me, next time a wedding invitation comes your way, don't take a +1 unless you must. You don't know what Cupid might have in store for you that day. And if you must travel to that wedding, the quiet car might be the perfect place for you to strike up a silent conversation. Have your cell phone charger handy. Have your cell phone charger handy. Have your cell phone charger handy, just in case. The quiet car. I made a couple little goofs in it, but it's because I'm still working on it. But it took me 10 years to write that song. And it's because I got on the quiet car one day without knowing it and started to talk to this guy, and everybody's going like, shh, shh. It's like all the hall monitors who grew up and now they're really mean business people. So I first wrote it as a story. I submitted it to the New Yorker, and guess what? The New Yorker rejected it, but they complimented it and said, keep working on it. So there's an example of when you get a no, you just keep going. You just keep going. Now, my next song. By the way, I hope you like my earrings. My friend Mary Enright made these. She's a goldsmith. And what she did is, it's actually a voice print of my longtime love on one side and my voice print on the other. These are my new lucky earrings, in case you were wondering. But so this next song is also, this is a brand new song. And I got the idea for this when I was also riding the subway. My parents met on the New York City subway. Back before World War II, Dad said, aren't you one of Judge Crawford's daughters? Mom said, how do you do? That's how the conversation started. Above the clickety-clack, on a train from the Bronx to Manhattan, when two 20-somethings began to chat. Until that day, what can I say? They were two young commuters, long before they were computers. Until that day, what can I say? Stars align when love is kindly on display. First thing they did after they got married was to move north, 50 miles up, to live a life bucolic, drinking from the Lavin cup. The babies came one after another, after another, after another. I am the fourth of 9. They did the best that they knew how to keep us kids in line. It was never easy with a family that size. Thank God for our black Labrador Spanky, with his gentle, trusting eyes. Sometimes spanking was the only living thing in the house to be loved by everyone unconditionally. My oldest sister went to nursing school. My oldest brother's college bound. Soon I was 2, but for much of that time I was lost, until I found that music gave me purpose. So I saved every dime till I could quit my day job. It took such a long, long time. And the younger kids all found their way in science, sports, and history. One became a journalist, one became a therapist, one became a journalist. He's a bit of a mystery. Some got married, some divorced, some have kids who are now grown. I keep up with their exploits 'cause they text me on my phone. Yes, I'm riding the New York City subway, staring at the screen. I look up, a little boy is pestering his mom. She looks all of 19. A lovely girl sporting earbuds next to a young man sporting earbuds too. But they're both staring at screens, and for all we know, she's in Brooklyn, he's in Kathmandu. I want to introduce them to each other and say, kids, open your eyes. Standing right beside you might be a sweet surprise. But I say nothing as the subway rumbles into the dark. But every now and then I remember as I disembark that years ago conversation started above the clickety-clack on a train from the Bronx to Manhattan when two 20-somethings began to chat. And the day they started talking, everything was new. You gotta look up from your cell phone so this can happen to you. Until that day, what can I say? They were two young commuters long before there were computers. Until that day, what can I say? Stars align when love is kindly on display. You know what the most important line in that song is? You gotta look up from your cell phone so that can happen to you. I can't wait to record that song, but I'm still working on that one too. Now, this next song, in 2012, the people at the Great Barrington's Guthrie Center challenged every performer to write a song that you think Woody Guthrie would be writing if he were alive today. Because in 2012, he would have been 100 years old. So I took the challenge and I wrote the song. It took a year for me to memorize it. But here we go. And tell me if you think this is a problem that somebody like Woody Guthrie would try to tackle. Way back last century, I joined America Online. Had to come up with a password, something uniquely mine. I picked the word lightning. I have no idea why. Lightning's gonna be my password till the day I die. Remember how it felt to get your first password? So proud of yourself, becoming a member of the cyber generation. Then I opened an account with Amazon. They wanted a password too. So again, I picked the word lightning. That was a logical thing to do. Then I joined Facebook. They said a single word was not sufficient. They want both the letters and numbers to be safe and efficient. So I added number 52 to my word lightning. Lightning 52 is my Facebook password. My online skills are heightening. But then I read it's dangerous to use the same password everywhere. So I thought, okay, what's easy to remember and accompanies lightning up in the air? Thunder! That'll be my new password as I download iTunes. But they also want a number, so Thunder 1 is what I picked that afternoon. Then I joined satellite radio and now the password to create what goes with lightning and thunder. Hail! That'll work just great. But no, they said hail's too short a word. But hailstones, that works fine. I've already come a long way from lightning and obsolete America Online. Then I joined Gmail, lightning, thunder, hailstones, Twister. But they tell me that's a weak password, so I consult my little sister. Now, when you have computer trouble, you can't go to anybody older and wiser, because there is nobody older and wiser. I know a woman whose 3-year-old helps her when she has computer trouble. I said, you should keep that to yourself. Anyway, my little sister said, how about the word hurricane? But add a number to make it secure. So Hurricane 53 kept the bad guys from my digital door. So far so good, till the day Facebook let me know somebody hacked into my account. My old password has gotta go. Oh no, Lightning 52 became Lightning 53. But only for a couple of weeks, cause then my account got hacked again and my password needed tweaks. But Lightning 54 was rejected. They said it was way too close to Lightning 53. So I made a bold choice. Humidity 9, that's the new password for me. Everything was A-okay, till the day I let a friend use my laptop. She did something to my AOL account that brought it to a screeching stop. They said she emailed way too many people. My account got junked. I could reopen it in 24 hours. My password was now defunct. So AOL gave me a new password, my zip code, and my initials. But they said if I didn't like it, I could change it back to something more creative and less official. Well, I tried changing it back to Lightning, but they said, nope, you gotta pick another word. And for whatever reason in that particular moment in time, Typhoon 56 is what I prefer. Lightning 52, Thunder 1, okay. Hailstones are... This is the sing-along part. Weren't you paying attention? Lightning 53, Lightning 54. Starting to get confused. What is that? The password for Humidity 9, CL10025. I think I'm starting to overload my brain's external drive. Typhoon 56. I don't remember what that does. If only I could go back to the time when Lightning was the only password I had to remember, the only password to memorize, the only password to open sesame, everything under digital skies. But the days of the single, simple password are ancient history. I'm gonna change my password to I'm an old idiot 1, 2, 3. Now I got a confession to make. Some of those are still my passwords. I know, I'm singing live on the internet. My passwords. What was I thinking? But people say, aren't you afraid somebody out there is going to steal your identity? I said, not 1 second am I afraid of that, because I can see you can't remember your own password. What are the odds you're going to remember mine? Well, how are we doing on time? I got to look over here. Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. One of the things I love to do is connect. Oh, by the way, if you want to donate some money to this all-day concert, it goes to all the Fleming artists. And it's just go to Fleming Artist / Fleming Fest. Give $1 million. And then nobody else has to give. If you give $1 million, wouldn't that be nice? Okay. I love to connect people with their psychic powers. I've got to get serious here. And this is an actual psychic test in the form of a song. There is some arithmetic in the psychic test. If you're not good at math, you can use a calculator. That does not affect the psychic part of it. But before we do the song, I want you to put your hand on your computer screen so that I can establish a psychic connection with you. I'm going to put my hand on the computer screen. Okay. And you put your hand up there. Let's see here. I'll put it here. So we're touching. Okay. I hope you put your hand up there, because now we're psychically connected. And at the end of the song, really only 2 or 3% of people actually get through the whole song and get all the answers right. But because we now have an established psychic connection, you might be in that 2 to 3%. Here we go. I am psychic, so are you. Just do what I ask you to. You skeptics won't believe it's true. I am psychic, so are you. I want everybody here to pick a number between 1 and 9. Don't say it out loud. Don't even tell the person sitting next to you. Keep it to yourself, but remember it. Everybody got a number? All right. Now double it. Add 8. Divide this number by 2. Subtract the number that you started out with from the number you have now. Look at my brain. Look at my brain. You have some psychic powers if you are now thinking of the number 4. All of you who are thinking of 4, I invite you to the second level of psychic testing. If you're now thinking of 4, you're out. We're on the honor system here. Now for the second level of psychic testing, I want everybody here to pick a number between 2 and 17. Remember it. Now double it. Add 12. Divide this number by 2. Subtract the number that you started out from the number you have now. Look at my brain. Look at my brain. You have even more psychic powers if you are now thinking of the number 6. All right? Oh my God, so many of you got that right. All right, you know what? We're going to make it much harder. We're going to the highest level of psychic testing allowed in North America. Pick a high, pick a low number if you're not. But remember it. Now double it. Add 4. Divide this number by 2. Subtract the number that you started out from the number you have now. Now don't say it. Whatever this number is, I want you to go to the corresponding letter of the alphabet. If you're thinking number 1, that would be A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, D, 5. If you're thinking number 26, that would be Z. All right? So you're all thinking of a letter. Okay. I want you to think of a fruit that begins with the letter that you are thinking. Okay, so you're all thinking of a fruit. Now, I want you to go to the last letter of the fruit that you are thinking. And I want you to think of a state anywhere in the United States. No. Think of a state only in the northern part of the United States where this fruit probably wouldn't grow. So you're thinking of a fruit. You're thinking of a northern state. You're looking at my brain. Okay. Look at my brain. Look at my brain. It goes on your resume. You are 100% psychic if you are now thinking of a banana in Alaska. Remember, if you got that right, you put that on your resume. You do. You put that on your resume. And if you were thinking of a blueberry in Wyoming, you're psycho. That goes on your resume too. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I've got time for one more song. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody at Fleming. Thank you, Mary, for making my beautiful earrings. This is a beautiful guitar by Grit Laskin. And I'm going to do a song that I wrote when I was on my way to the Kerrville Folk Festival. I got on a plane in New York, flew to Houston on to San Antonio, and the Houston airport. I noticed that a fly got on the plane. And then the plane got struck by lightning. And I wrote the song when I was trapped inside the body of the fly. I'm a fly on a plane. I'm buzzing all around. I got on Houston. I'm San Antonio bound. I'm not riding in coach. I think I fly first class. I'm on the head of a banker. Zip, zip, I'm on the rim of a glass. My, oh, my, I'm a fly to get a free ride on a plane. I'm a fly on a plane. A flight's a little erratic. The highest I've ever been was in a swing time cowgirl's attic. I didn't mean to leave home, but now the die is cast. I guess my destiny is to roam and to fly really fast, very fast, mighty fast. My, oh, my, I'm a fly to get a free ride on a plane. When I get to San Antonio, I'm gonna make a lot of new fly friends. When I tell them that I'm from Houston, the eyes will bug out and they'll say, come again. Don't tell us no Texas tall tales. How did you get here? I'll say, I flew. Although San Antonio flies will say, man alive, we've got immense respect for you. Zip, zippity-doo-dah. Zip, zippity-yay. Zip, zip-a-day-doo-dah. Say, hey, Willie Mae, say, hey, I'm a fly on a plane. I got a lot of dreams. I never counted on them rolled up in Flight magazine. That's it. He did. It was just a fly. It's not like it was a puppy. Get over yourselves. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. And stay tuned for the next Fleming artist.